glitch in the... Hey, I'm a glitch in the system. And last week I popped the F off with gear upgrades, and I'll talk about how that all came to be, because I did spend quite a bit of time min-maxing where I should be upgrading my stuff, and it just was awesome. I'll start off with the raid because my guild went in and started progressing on Heroic Gallywix, which is just a lot of fun. I really like that fight, just it matches with the rest of the raid that I love. It was fun to progress because I felt like every part of the fight was something that everyone slowly got the hang of, and then each pull just felt like it got longer and longer and longer. And then at the end, it was just a matter of perfecting those little bits and then doing it all together at the same time. But I kind of do like mechanic-heavy fights, specifically ones like this one where it's very coordinated and you know what's going to happen and when. It's not very random per se. Because like I said, you can just do that specific part over and over again and then eventually perfect it. Like the way that my guild did it was that we watched a video, did phase 1. Once we got that, we did phase 2 and then so on, and we progressively progressed. The one thing about that is that the healing in that fight is just insane, and so during a break I was trying to figure out like what can the raid do as a whole to do better. Like seeing if maybe we can like get people to not stack for the soak if they have a certain dot, or if there's like different healing cooldowns we can use. And then my guild leader just chewed my ass out for not using defensives. I honestly forgot that I had defensive stance, and even though it's on my bars and I see it every time I open up my talent window, I just forgot that existed, so that was nice. I also thought the magic damage reduction on Spell Reflect only applied if you were to reflect a spell. Come to find out that no, that is just there in addition to being able to reflect one spell. So I learned how to play a warrior better, then proceeded to get my guild yelled at, and then we killed it. So the moral of that story is that I'm the reason my guild killed Heroic Gallywix, so you're welcome. But having done that raid now on Heroic and having actually progressed on each fight, I really liked it, and I kind of do miss progression raiding. I don't think I'll ever actually get back into it, but that first couple weeks of a new raid, it was just a lot of fun. And if I could recreate that in a less hardcore way, while also still progressing the same amount, that would be fantastic. Moving into Mythic Plus, I only ran 2 dungeons this past week, both of which were on stream, which I did on Wednesday. VOD is up for that if you're interested. I should be back streaming this week on Wednesday at around 12 o'clock Pacific, both on Twitch and here on YouTube, so if you want to come check that out, I'd love to see ya. I only got 23 more rating this week. I went up to 2029. I ran an 8 mother load, which was relatively smooth. The tank didn't overpull at the end, and we had plenty of time to spare, so my anxiety with that dungeon kind of decreased with that specific run. Someone got my best in slot ring and didn't need it, and I won the roll, so I was very happy to get that, which will play into the gear upgrades later. And after that, I did Theater of Pain at an 8 as well, and it was just not any of our best performances. We did not time that. We did finish it, but it was just not that great of a dungeon. With me specifically, I was dying to a lot of stuff I shouldn't be dying to, and so I was a little bit frustrated coming out of that one. And then one of the other sources of gear was Delves. I ran a few of those as well. A couple of them were on stream, and I did tier 11s this week too. Tier 11s were definitely easier than last season. Very happy about that. I love that you get the max level crests from them. And to be honest, I could definitely see myself running those more so than running 4s or 8s later on in the season when I'm just trying to get them done quickly because of the crests themselves. So knowing that I can do those now, I'm probably just going to go slowly through all of them and get the achievement to get all delves done at a tier 11. And also while I was doing that, I tried the Demolition Dome delve and it just feels very annoying. I think part of it is because my interact button is on my numpad and I had to take off my hand from my mouse to use the interact key. So I think that if I just swap that, it might be a little bit better, but I still don't like that I have to use that key to be able to kick the bombs, which is what that fight really just feels like. It's just managing these ads for the majority of it and then having like 3 or 4 seconds on the boss. I think I spent like 15-20 minutes on Thursday nights and it was just disappointing compared to Zekfir. I really like Zekfir a lot more. Specifically because, like I was saying on Gallywix, is that the mechanics on that fight were pretty much predetermined and I could figure out how to do it all, and then it was just repetition until I got it perfectly done. With this, it's relatively the same where it's just repetition, but it's the running around that just bugs me a lot. But other than that, I didn't do a whole lot. I wanted to do more, but I was kind of couch locked all weekend. I wasn't feeling great, so I just kind of did pet battles all weekend. Squirt Day was on Sunday, so I got a bunch of pets leveled up to 25. I was working on the Argus Family Battler achievement, which I think I'm about halfway done now. And it was just driving me crazy because a lot of the strats online are from before they did the pet revamp, I think in Shadowlands. So those don't work anymore, and there's not a lot, if any, new ones for some fights. Or the new ones that do exist, I don't have the pets for, and it just was driving me crazy with some of these fights. So looking forward to being done with that, but that was kind of where I spent the majority of my weekend. I also worked on a new transmog. I've been wanting to change out what my warrior looks like for a while. I just didn't really know where to start, and I just started poking around, seeing what's out there. I started with the helm because I really like the way it looks. It kind of reminds me of Robocop in a way. And from there, the rest of the set just kind of slowly filled out, and I typically don't prefer red sets, but this one really looks good. I think funny enough, the helm is probably the thing that sticks out the most as not really matching. I think the red on the shoulders is also not the same, so I might need to change those out. And though the gloves match, I think they're lesser quality than everything else, so I might need to find like an HD version of those gloves or something else that matches better. But to be honest, I really like this set. It looks really, really cool, even as is, and I'm very happy with it. The other downside, though, is that it doesn't match with my mount, the Shackle Dorsal. I don't know, I have to like either get a new set or change my mount, which I don't really want to, or just deal with it and just have the mismatch. I don't know, but let me know what you think. But speaking of sets, let's talk about the gear, because like I said, I had just a pop-off. My warrior started at an item level of 647, and I'm ending the week at 655.5. So starting with the vault, there were a few upgrades that I ended up narrowing down to the heroic 655 gloves in the raid row and heroic 658 wrists in the dungeon row. When I simmed them both, the bracers were the best pick, but I was wondering if it was worth taking the heroic gloves to catalyze and replace my champ track tier gloves I have now. The bracers are not my best in slot, but they're much better than the wrists I had. The tier hands are my best in slot and an upgrade in terms of quality, so champ versus heroic. So instead of worrying about my vaults, I ended up going to my bag and my banks to do all that stuff first. The first thing I did was equipped my 658 heroic chest piece I got from raid, which has my best in slot stats, which replaced my 645 champ chest. I then catalyzed heroic 649 shoulders I got last week from Mythic Plus, which turned them into tier, which got me 3 pieces of tier, and replaced my 639 season 1 tier piece. From there, I had a heroic tier leg token from raid, so I used that and got my 4 piece, and also replaced my 626 season 1 legs. And then I just went upgraded everything. I fully upgraded my best in slot ring from Motherload that I mentioned earlier to 658, which replaced a 626. I fully upgraded my tier shoulders to 665, and now I'm saving up all my crests to try to upgrade my crafted weapon from 636 to I think it's like 675. I unfortunately did not get a chance to run any Mythic Plus with that new gear set, so hopefully sometime early this week I'll be able to do that. My warrior wasn't the only one getting loot though, because my hunter, I've just been collecting war crates throughout the day. He's now conquest capped for the season until this week rolls around. So he started the week at 602 item level, and I'm ending it at 613. With him, I bought 4 new pieces of conquest gear, all 636 item level. I bought the prized gladiator hands, bow, legs, and feet. But moving into achievements for this week, I only got 30 more points, so I'm ending at 44,640. Like I mentioned with my hunter, he's been collecting conquest all week, so he got the achievement to collect 2,500 conquest in season 2. This clip actually made me laugh so hard because it was just me and this other player that landed at the crate, and then suddenly, like, Avengers Assemble, all the alliance ever in the world came and just destroyed this guy. I also got the 20 Algari Angler Thread achievement, which is just from the Fishing Derby, as well as Battle on Zandalar and Kultiris, which is just to complete 20 Pet Battle World Quests in Buffet. And then for mounts this week, I started by getting Renown 15 with the Cartels of Undermine, and for 8100 Resonance Crystals, I bought the Violet Armored Growler. After that, I got the Violet Goblin Shredder, which is just from doing the drive jobs around Undermine. This was one of the mounts that I was really not looking forward to grinding because the jobs suck, but I got this pretty quick, so I'm very happy about that. And then hilariously, I got this Salvaged Goblin Gazillionaire's Flying Machine. This is from the rare that spawns when you're doing the trash piles in Undermine. So what had happened is that I completed this event, I did not get the mount, but this guy named Bevan on Area 52 did. He said he'd trade it to somebody, and I jokingly offered 1 gold. He said he could vendor it for 50, so I offered 51 gold. He then said he'd do it for 69 gold, of course. I offered 69 gold and 42 silver because nice. And he accepted, and I got this mount for 70 gold pretty much. So this was the other mount that I was really not looking forward to farming because it's just tedious. It's not hard, it's just tedious. And now that's done, so sick. Also, actually really quick, speaking of mount runs, in one of the delves, I finally got my second Crackling Shard. I forgot these even existed for the Alunara or whatever mount from War Within. You need 10 of these. I got my first one when I was leveling when the War Within came out. So it's been like 7 months, and I only have 8 more to go, so yay me. But that is it for me. That's all the stuff that happened to me last week. I am feeling better, so I should be doing a little bit more this week. Let me know how your week went, what you're up to, what are you doing in Mythic Plus, in Raid, in-game, outside of game, other games. Let me know. I'd love to hear about it. If you missed it, a little bit ago, I posted a video talking about if Blizzard were to go back and make meta achievements for every era of the game from Classic all the way through to Legion, what they could name the achievements, what they could include in those achievements, and just speculating what that might look like. If that sounds interesting to you, click the video that's on screen now. If you like this video, if you could give it a thumbs up. If you like this channel, I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe. Thank you again for watching. I love you lots. Have yourself a great and safe week. I'll talk at you next week.